Go. Okay, I finally figured it out. I'm not bad at technology. Okay, so maybe that's a lie. I am bad at technology. But I finally got this to work for the two of you I think that were waiting on like the old like event or whatever. My bad. Streaming is complicated. Well, I guess it's not really that complicated. I think I'm just incompetent. But anyway, so yeah, as I said in the description, like for as much as I play the bot chat, like my 4,200 battles in the bot chat, I don't play the bot chat enough on my channel, which is why we're going to be playing it today, and also by user request. I think it was Jack underscore JAQ. Shout out to him. Uh, he wanted me to live stream the bot chat, and then someone on my Discord Discord server said that I should stream. So I'm streaming today, and I'm just plugging for myself on Discord at the moment. But let's get this party started, even though I'm pretty sure no one's. Oh, I have 3 people watching. All right, let's go. But yeah, you guys may have noticed that my premium time finally ran out. It's a little unfortunate. I was enjoying my free year of premium time from when they took away spare parts. Makes me sad. Also, I'm not sure if my game has. I might have to restart my game. You guys, do you guys know if there's volume on the game? I have this thing where, like, if I switch my audio output device, my game no longer has. I think it still should be broadcasting on stream. I can't hear it myself. But the thing is, since I'm streaming, I can't actually restart my game, so that's a little. If you guys can't hear sound, then I'll just restart the streaming.
Celui-là n'a pas percé.
The great thing about the bot chat is, even if I make really bad mistakes and I don't know how to drive, I can still technically run away.
En plein dans le mid. On l'a même pas éraflé.
But yeah, that's a great way to start the stream. Not really knowing what I'm doing. Gonna get killed by the Gorilla's HE.
C'est parti.
He'll shoot AP and hit my tracks. That works. No one on my team went middle. Why won't this guy leave me alone? This is really annoying. Go away. No one likes you. Yeah, that chieftain tried to chase me. I think none of their team. Oh, yeah.
Celui-là.
Well, that's a great way to start. But if sound is good for you guys, that's all I care about. That first match was. Well, let's say that one didn't really go well, but I'm not really sure what I'm doing right now. So I guess at the moment I'll take user requests if you guys have any while I wait for my budget to come back. Because that was not ideal. I would play the botchet AP, but I can't play it in rating battles. So that's kind of unfortunate. Oh right, I need to set this back. What else can I run? You know what, the leopard's close enough. Actually, no, the 50B is closer. Although to be honest, none of these tanks are like the Botchet, because the Botchet's like the only like high tier light tank, and it's got an auto loader. But I guess I'll play the 50B for now while I wait for the Botchet to come back. And in the meantime, I guess I can keep plugging for my stream on random Discord servers. Also, if the audio cuts in and out for like the game audio, that's because I'm like hitting Alt Tab. So like if I Alt Tab between like the game window and then like Google Chrome, for instance, where I'm trying to. That's the reason why the audio cuts out. Oh, it's wannabe Unicode. as I say that, there's a 5120 spotted. So, quick tip, what you don't see is just as helpful as what you do see. Seems like nobody spotted anything on the right side. We didn't see anyone crossing over. I know that they all have to be, like, up top. So, I'm not going to push into that because that would not end well. Oh, my bad aim. I wish I had good aim, because a lot of times it's not even my bad RNG, it's just that I don't aim well. Like, you watch me miss that shell on the botchet. Oh, this poor T-54 is getting torn apart.
On va la voir. Continue à tirer.
Well, I guess I'll just wait for my team to do something, and then maybe I'll push. Who just added me on Discord? See, the great thing about playing autoloaders is that I don't even... Oh, it's the stream dashboard link. Oh, I see. Gosh darn it. The great thing about playing autoloaders is, like, you can do other stuff while you reload. It's like playing Arty on PC. You can just, like, quick Alt-Tab out of the game, do something else, and then once you're loaded, you can come back and kill something like that. Super handy if you're being lazy, maybe eating or something. Oh, there's a 140 bomb. This guy going full YOLO. Oh, he killed my teammate. This is a little... Also, luckily for me, this guy's kind of like me. I have to get the actual stream link because I just found out on Discord that I've been posting the link to my stream dashboard and not the actual stream, which is a little... Watch it. You can't. I go 50 kilometers an hour, although you go 65, but I have the high ground now. What is the actual Star Wars quote? Like, you can't win, Anakin, I have the high ground? Something like that. You know, from the meme? Do not remember that actual quote. I haven't watched Star Wars in a while. I'll have to go back and watch that. Maybe, like, marathon, watch all the Star Wars movies once the new one comes out. Because I'm really interested how they're actually going to close out Star Wars, to be honest, because it seems every movie, they just make the situation worse. And it's just going to take some either miracle writing or, like, really awful writing to not end this trilogy on, like, a really awful note. Alright. So, what is the actual link to my stream? That is a good question. Give me a sec while I figure out the actual link to my stream. Alright, so the bot's back. That's nice, so I can actually not be doing that false advertising nonsense. Alright, I got that figured out, so let's go into the next battle. And now I have to replug for everything because I sent people the wrong link. I'm on so many servers.
Canon principal détruit. Impossible de
Battle, so I actually have to start playing now. They have a double botchet platoon. Oh, there's so many botchets today because 2 botchets in that 50B battle. There's 2 more now. Maybe I'm inspiring people with my massive mass media might. Those botchets. I'm a little surprised that they're not here. Oh, they're pushing through the town. Okay, that's a new one. Actually, I suppose that's not so new, because recently I've seen a lot of medium tanks go town on Dead Cell, and it's a little weird. Don't go town on Dead Rail for your first play, unless you're like the mouse or something. If you go town on Dead Rail and a mouse, it tends to work. Not so much in a medium tank, especially when you don't know where they are. That kind of tends to get you get. About leaving this object 268 here. I also really don't want to get spotted out by that botcher. They figure out we all left, we're going to lose.
Joli tir.
I am not doing so well today. I'm like really bad at multitasking, so I'm like bad at talking and playing at the same time. If anyone's ever platooned with me on voice, you probably noticed the same thing. Because normally when I play, I just like listen to music and I'm like dead silent. See if we can find the Centurion. That dude already hit me twice and I'm not too happy about it. Once this game has been to the Centurion.
Joli tir.
Also, another pro tip is when you shoot the Centurion's roof, you want to hit it with heat shells because APCR will ricochet, but heat doesn't ricochet until like some really absurd. Basically, it means that it doesn't ricochet. Because anything beyond 85 degrees, essentially, like, you're never going to pen it, even if... Why won't these guys leave me alone? Look at this, they're all... This Centurion 1, or 7-1, really wants me. I'll just wait for... I'll just keep him down while I wait for him to be pushed by people like this 268.
Ils sont seulement touchés.
I think he fired.
Celui-là a ricoché.
Oh, haha, Mr. Centurion. The tides have turned now, haven't they? Oh, look at this. He's still going after me. Although I suppose that's probably because I'm the one shooting him. Oh, I shouldn't have reloaded. I should have shot the 100. I didn't realize I had a shot on him. But yeah, another thing you guys will probably want to do when you play the botchet is just manage your reloads well. A lot of times I'll see like people driving around with like 2 shells in the clip or like 1 shell in the clip, and there's really no reason to ever not be fully loaded in the botchet, especially when it only takes like 13 seconds to reload. I mean, that's like the same amount of time as like a TD, and wow, I didn't do anything that game. Okay. Well, hopefully I can do a little bit better than that for this stream. Mic is sounding a bit fuzzy. I guess I'll play with the mic sensitivity a little bit. So I just turned it down. Is this a little bit better? Meantime, I'm just gonna keep attempting to my plug for myself. Already in battle, that was fast. Oh, also, I'm going to make an announcement here. So, for future videos, one kind of like mini series I want to do is I want you guys to send me like replays. Don't send me your good ones though. Send me like a really average replay so I can go over it. I think sometimes I'm a little out of touch with how like people actually play this game, and I think it would be helpful if I could like give people like specific advice on how to improve. So if you guys could send me like replays of like an average game or something for you, that would be awesome. So I could dissect it and I could. Well, I promise I won't be too harsh, but I really do feel like if I'm like more in touch with how people play, then I could give better advice for and see what people are really kind of like having trouble with. Because like I haven't seen like an average replay from someone in like. Sometimes like my advice is just like things that I think help, but I'm not. Although sometimes I think my advice, while it should help you, sometimes like people need advice on different things that I might be completely oblivious of. So it would be really awesome if I could make those into a couple of videos or something. So if you're watching, feel free to send me some videos. I'll probably also make this same announcement in my next video. Although, I think just like a couple people here will probably overwhelm me with videos or replays. Like, it's free advice. Oh, this is not going well. At this point, I think this game is a lost cause, so I'm just going to farm damage from the back lines. I don't really see me winning this anymore. And I still have, like, not contributed anything in, like, the past 3 games. So I'm really awful at playing while talking.
Munition touchée. On a de la chance qu'elle n'ait pas explosé. Celui-là a ricoché. Celui-là n'a pas percé.
I've hit 2 shots and 4 of our tanks are dead. That's brilliant. I know, this is, like, not a very super good tutorial on how to play the botchet. I guess it's, like, more of a tutorial on how not to play the botchet. He can be a spotter. The enemy team will just push it. If I can kill his top on
Continue à tirer. On a pénétré le blindage. Celui-là n'a pas percé.
Heck out of the 704 find that shot. I can help that T-94. Probably not best if I leave him alone. See, the thing is, even though I know we're going to lose this game, I'm still going to try to play for the win. Always play for the win, don't play for draws. Draws are lame. Unless the enemy team has really done something to piss you off, there's just no reason to play for a draw, because it's still a loss.
On a un sentier.
Heck, how are they wrecking our T-95 from a distance? That makes no sense to me.
Munition touchée. On a de la chance que ça n'ait pas explosé. On va la voir. Continue à tirer.
You know what? This might actually be doable if I, like, pull out some miracle, because most of them are 1 clip now. Plus T-62, I think I still stand a decent chance. Do all this clean.
On les tient, les gars. Un baril d'observation endommagé. En plein dans le mille.
Oh, are you kidding me? Thanks, PC Auto Aim. No, I'm dead.
Le périscope est endommagé.
Only I killed that T-62. Although, winning that was kind of a pipe dream anyway. Wonder what chat is saying. Oh, I'm competing with Meadsy. Yeah, that's going to be a little hard for me to compete with Meadsy. I did not know that Meadsy was streaming right now. Although I suppose, like, Sunday evening, it's a pretty good time to be streaming. So I guess I'm not really surprised. Although in my previous streams, I've always been competing with Bushka. So I guess competing with Meadsy is slightly easier than competing with Bushka. Teams are an all-time bad. I don't know about teams. Although I've been doing really awful the past couple days. Like, I've been playing the Scorpion and I cannot win in that thing. Well, at least not for the amount of damage I've been doing in the Scorpion. Although to be fair, I think I did win 1 so far. Right? So, oh no, I won the game before the.
Perte de précision.
I can't let their 140 get there for free. Should I go all the way up? No, I'm not going to go all the way up. Also not going to get shot for this. I think I'm at right for the night right now because I won once on Dead Rail and then once in the 50B and I lost 2 in the botchet. Now let's see if there's any TDs on the island. Maybe deal with those guys. probably do something before my team ends up 0-4 down like they did last time. Nah, I just need him to shoot. Shoot. Yeah, I think I highlighted this spot in my Mines video. Like, as you can see, it's really awesome for dealing with these hill tanks. See, like, now that I forced that Object 140 down, like, our team can be a little more aggressive. Like, they can't peek us anymore now that I'm here. Because if they try to peek up, they're going to get shot by me. So you see that they've all been forced underneath the hill. Live action, how to play Mines. I just have to really... I can't end this 122.54.
Ils sont seulement touchés.
But we have 3 TDs. This is... That's also kind of why I didn't really mention the North TD spots in my Mines video, because, like, they don't do much other than, like, do couple... 2 shells. Ready botched armor. Yeah, these TDs need to destroy that Waffenträger on the cross. I can deal with this one guy, but I can't deal with both of them. Oh wait, no, the Waffenträger missed me. I can't aim. Thank you, Mr. T-57, for saving my life, and I will just keep being a nuisance. Oh, there's an IS-7 here. When did this IS-7 get here? That is really convenient now. All I have to do now is fade, and we're back in business, and I can keep being annoying. See, this is how you win Mines from the north spawn. Open direction, and you can slowly whittle down. So my advice, it is not fake news. I think there's a 183 back here. Oh no, the 183 is way up here. They have an E100 camping spot. So he might be a camping spot in 100, but if he finds one shot into me, I'm going to die here. And I'd prefer to do more damage to compensate for how poorly I've been doing. Maybe I can shoot this 50B. Oh, I can shoot these guys. Ah, the IS-7 still in the 50B. Almost had him. Alright, there we go. Finally had a not terrible game in the Botchet. Nice shooting from that T-57. Also, thanks for saving my life, bro. Let's see. Solo Slim. I think... Is he watching the stream? I think he might be. Run Supremacy only. Ah, yes. Absolute Sniper is absolutely on the money. Supremacy only is the way to go if you want to win games, actually. I think I have it on encounter only because I was participating in the Triari countdowns. I forgot to switch it back, but normally I do prefer to run Supremacy only because, what's it called? There's more noobs in Supremacy, so it's easier to win. I know that sounds super counterintuitive, but it's true. The more noobs there are, the easier it is to win. It's why, like, Seal Clubbing is easy, because at Tier 3, I guarantee you, there's not a single good player at Tier 3 other than Seal Clubbers. And that's why it's really easy to win at Tier 3s, because it... Also kind of like, imagine if, like, all the players in the game were like some WG bot or something. Oh, to just drive forward and shoot. It would be super easy to win. And on the other extreme, like, if everyone's a great player, then it's match, and it'd be extremely difficult to win. So, thus, logically, the more noobs, the easier it is to win. Not the QED, yeah, that's it. That's the acronym that math people use when they finish a proof. I missed him again. I miss him? He was there.
Continue à
I
tirer.
guess I aimed too far to the right.
Celui-là n'a pas percé.
That,
On n'a pas pénétré le blindage.
these guys are about to find out the hard way why you don't go into C without taking A first. There's a cop ponder here.
Chopez un extincteur et
Where did this guy get here? Oh, I have to deal with this now. Oh, that kind of sucks. Yeah, I don't think he's very good.
dans le mille. En plein dans le mille.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the snapshot.
Celui-là n'a pas percé.
I guess I'll return. It's not a terrible trade, but I still kind of want to hang on to my hit points because there's no now to deal with.
Celui-là n'a pas percé.
Oh no.
Que le
That's at
spectacle
263.
commence.
That should not have happened.
Munition touchée, on a de la chance que ça ait pas explosé.
I'm gonna die. Unless this gorilla can find this STB here. Oh, we're here now, but I think we lost the bridge.
Ils sont touchés.
Yeah, that was kind of sneaky connection there.
Joli tir. Ils sont seulement touchés.
Still alive somehow. This is like a massive mistake from the enemy team right now. I probably should stop peeking this corner because I feel like I'm high on this peak. Alright, good stuff, guys. You heavies suck bleep, okay. Alright, Mr. T95. I'm not even sure how he died, because it should be pretty hard for them to actually push that T95 across the bridge.
Chef de char hors combat. On l'a même pas éraflé.
Also not sure why I'm wasting my ammo. Oh, I hit him! Okay. Thank you, RNG. I've been blessed by RNGesus. Camper, idiot, eyes. This dude is salty. So salty. I don't know what PQP means. I think that's probably a Spanish acronym. I'm probably wrong. But if any of you guys know Spanish acronyms, you can tell me I'm wrong.
Celui-là n'a pas percé. Ils ont détruit les appareils d'observation. On ne voit plus rien.
Well, it's a little unfortunate that we lost that game. Good stuff from the gorilla, though. Spotting and how to accrue damage over the course of the match without dying. Yeah, so I made a video on spotting already. So, although right now my current botchet loadout, it's like more tailored towards like kind of late game plays and like doing damage. If you want to run like a spotting setup on the botchet, normally I'd run vents and optics, but I've kind of sacrificed a little bit of my early game spotting ability to run camo net instead, because if you run camo net on this tank, it's like super difficult for the enemy to actually track you down in the mid to late game, so you can make rotations unspotted. And then calibrated is also good for brawling. But yeah, so if I get a good spotting map, I can just kind of detail what I'm actually doing. And then how to accrue damage over the course of the match without dying. I can tell you how to accrue damage. The without dying part is going to be difficult, because I think I've died in every single battle except for the mines one. Also dead rail.
Canon principal détruit. Impossible de tirer.
I think that's the 50B from last battle. Is it? Yeah, it is. So right here they only have one medium, so I'm just going to try and aggressively spot this swamp area. Oh, he's here, so I actually have to fight him now. which I prefer not to do because I don't have another tank here. This leopard can. Oh wait, if the 140 comes, then I'm actually okay. I just need to keep this dude pinned here while my 140 comes and pushes. I don't have shells. Oh, this leopard left. What the heck? I don't know how I let him get away from me. But yeah, so once you have like free reign, it's like super easy to just show up behind people. So like this Jagdpanzer's about to get one in the side.
Joli tir.
Also this chieftain if he peeks out.
On n'a pas pénétré blindage.
I mean, the key to the botcha is you just kind of, anytime you see anything, you just go around it, and that's basically how you do damage. If they're not looking at you like this 50B, you can peek out and shoot them. Except I can't shoot them because I don't have shells, but allow me to demonstrate. See? Oh, I missed.
Le râtelier de munitions est touché. On les tient, les gars.
One, even though I missed two. That's the great thing about having an autoloader is even if you mess up, you always have more shells. And that's why I prefer having an autoloader over, say, like the Leopard. Because, like, the Leopard, like, you show up, you can only hit them once, and then, like, they'll be on to you by the time you load your next shell. But with the bot, show up, and I can hit them potentially 3 times.
Réservoir d'essence ennemi touché.
Wow, our team won that quickly.
En plein dans le mille.
Didn't hit the
Ils
shoot
sont
button.
seulement touchés.
You may notice that, like, if you ever play the botchet, you always want your pretty much reverse peek. It just generally makes things easier because the botchet still is like a rear-mounted turret tank. It's just sometimes it's I don't notice. Although I guess maybe you guys do, but the botchet's probably like the only like rear-mounted turret other than maybe like the mouse that I could think can make the rear-mounted turret work. Because the botchet's so small, the rear-mounted turret's not a huge deal, and then the mouse has tons of side armor. All right, so as far as things you missed, mostly just me dying a lot and not doing much. The other thing you missed is like, I'm trying to get like plays of like average games from people so that I can use them as examples in videos and help people improve and stuff. Maybe make videos out of them. So if you have like average replays and stuff, please send them to me. I don't want your good games, I want your mediocre games. I'll probably like sift through those if I actually do get sent any and find the best ones that I can make videos out of. Oh, I forgot to do the spotting run on Middleburg. Crud, I wasn't thinking. Yeah, if you guys saw my spotting video, there's this really shady spotting run I like to do on Middleburg, where like you kind of YOLO through like up to where like this T-54 is, and you can catch them like as they're leaving their spawn, and usually get 1 or 2 free shots. It's kind of hilarious. But I'd love to get some live footage for you guys to see that in action.
En plein dans le mille.
One time I did that the other day, and this Jagdpanzer just like, he's like, what the heck? He was just trundling to the town, and I hit him like twice right off the bat. Because the one thing about spotting is basically 100% useless for your team. If you're expecting to like spot them, and then like your team will just magically make it rain shells on the enemy team, it's never going to happen. You usually just spot for yourself, and also the enemy team is most vulnerable right when they're leaving spawn because that's when they least expect to be shot at. So usually you can get some free unreturned damage that way. Oh my god, I have the worst aim in the history of mankind.
On l'a bien allumé. On va la voir. Continue à tirer.
It'd be so much better if I aim my shots, but I can't. This is why I'm bad at games like Call of Duty and like Battlefield. I really love first-person shooters and I love playing them. They're a lot of fun, but I'm so bad at them just because my aim is horrific.
En plein dans le mille.
I'm playing PC mouse right now. If you guys like, if I ever play mobile again and somehow manage to screen record it, my gameplay on mobile is horrific. Just because if you think I'm bad at aiming on PC mouse, my mobile aim is off. It's so bad. You mobile players, I don't know how you guys do it. I have to say, AC probably adds this happens where I can't do anything. Oh, we're back. So if you ever see me driving in circles or something like that, that's probably why I missed again. Oh, the battle ended. I was about to get some more free damage. Oh, that's unfortunate. Always go hill. Yeah, I always go hill too, obviously. But like I said, I just wanted to get that spot run in. And yeah, always go hill because they kind of got crushed. I've never really seen a team go town and actually make it work. Because that depends on A, your team not being dumb enough to push all the way out of the town and into the open, and B, it depends on the enemy team being dumb enough to push into the town one by one. I got the wrong side for it. I wonder if I'll be able to do the climb. That would be pretty cool. Although, do I want to? Nah, you guys probably won't be able to. No one's gonna figure out how to do the climb from this clip. Because the climb on Rockfield, that took me 3 hours to figure out, and probably another 3 hours to actually get down. I'd love to make a video on it at some point, but it's too useful at the moment for me to just publicly broadcast how to climb. And also, I feel like if I made a video on it, WG would remove it, and I would be really sad. Speaking of climbs, WG would just please stop making maps all flat on the edges. All the recent maps have 0 hills that I can climb on the edges, and it makes me really sad. Climbing hills is awesome. Oh, I'm actually going to get to do the climb. Even if I die for this, it's going to be totally worth it. Oh, there's an IS-7. He's going to spot me on the way up. Why is he AFK? Oh no, I think I failed it. No. Oh, I'm going to die for it. I'll have to do it later when my engine power boost comes back. Should have just waited for the team to kill the IS-7. With 583 hit points, I don't really think I can do anything other than climb that hill. Now everyone in the world knows how to climb Blackfield. Well, by everyone in the world, I mean all 10 people who just watched. Although you guys didn't seem to get all the way up, but I think you guys have a good idea of. Although if you do it the exact way I did, you'll probably fail. One kind of annoying thing about having that 3-second interclip on the botchet is you get the light bulb exactly when your shell cycles in. So, although I suppose that's the problem with all tanks is you don't get the light bulb. You know what? I think even without engine power boost, I might still be able to do this. Let's see. Alright, I'll have to do this sometime again on the stream so you guys can see what happens when I actually get up. It's a little unfortunate that I let that IS-7 spot me. I should have just waited for the team to kill the IS-7. Although I suppose by the time I started it was a little too late. Or not. Normally the Leopard 1 kills me before I can get my... Alright. See, this is what... Well, I've actually started winning games now that I'm running Supremacy only. This is proof enough, I think, that Supremacy only is the way to go. Howdy, Hershowen. 13 people watching. That's not bad. Especially for competing with Meadsy. Although I probably should be at in my own self-interest, it would probably not be the best thing to advertise for Meadsy, saying that he has a stream going on. Alright, Vineyards. Vineyards is actually a great map for spotting. You go straight to the encounter cap where like tanks normally haul down. You can usually get some easy shots into the enemy. So, like I said, I went over this in my spotting video, but it'll be great for you guys to be able to see like live gameplay footage of it. I can catch some of those TDs or something. Alright, just gonna go into the river and then just keep my head up here. There's the Kampfpanzer. Oh, that sucks. Why do I keep missing? Also, little known fact is town is actually not a horrible position on Vineyards. It's a great way to like flank the enemy. Oh, there's an AMX-50 that I somehow didn't see. Alright. So now there's 2 tanks in town. And the thing about towns is usually it's like only bad players who come here, so it's kind of easy to outplay them usually. Even though I'm playing a budget in a town. I know. What is this heresy, right? MX. Hey, good trade. What was that? He hit me for like 390, I think. And I hit him back for 900. I'll take the trade. 100 just fired because I just shot. I just bounced off. MX 5120. Oh, Vineyards, it's kind of hard to push in most places other than town because, like, if you go through ruins, you tend to like get caught. Although it looks like they're pushing through ruins, so I'm just gonna kill this guy. Roll up. Although we're about to lose our 2 ruins tanks soon. Oh no, they got out of there. That is smart plays. Because generally my experience with like people playing Blitz is they seem to like be completely unaware that if they turn their tank 180 degrees, like that you can actually run away from things. I'm pretty sure if you told most people that their tank has a reverse gear, that would be news to them. As far as I know, like, the way most people play Blitz is they just kind of drive forward at the nearest spotted tank. That's just generally been my experience. They don't do anything other than that. So usually that's just my general assumption is if people see something, they're just going to drive straight towards it. I go back to our spawn? I'm gonna go. Actually, no, they only have a T-54 left, and I think that guy was already spotted recently. These guys off guard. Also, this is camo net in action. Like, you'll notice that I didn't get spotted by that Waffenfäger even as I crossed that gap. The reason why you wouldn't run camo net is you can do these kinds of sneaky plays and catch people out of position like that. Now this T-54 is kind of stuck. Yeah, and me on this side. I'm Waffenfäger. I'll take this free kill. Ooh, max roll. No, don't steal my kill, PJ. That's not very nice. Trying to steal that kill that I just worked for. Another win. All right, we're on a roll. I think 3rd win in a row. Awesome. Normally I don't win this much on stream. And I still have bad aim. I just aim for the one spot on the 268 side that I cannot pen. It's a little... The Bushka Bush? I don't know what the Bushka Bush is. I don't watch enough Bushka because every time I watch Bushka, I just kind of want to kick myself in the teeth because I keep disagreeing with him. Oh, that's on Castilla. Yeah, near it. I don't even know where the caps on most maps are, honestly, so I cannot understand your
Canon principal
supremacy.
endommagé. Perte de précision.
I play these maps so many times, it's just I never memorize the actual letters on the caps. I just kind of know where they are. Alright, let's see if we can spot this T-62. Oh, they didn't come here. See, this is the advantage of spotting, is if you aggressively spot, you can figure out there's nobody here. I guess, like, commenting on that a little bit, we'll look at the heat maps on, like, Watt Inspector. The heat maps should be free for Blitz. For most of the maps, other than, like, a couple, I think, it's like Naval Frontier, that's not free for, but like you'll notice that on Supremacy, there's lots more Talon noobs. Lots of times in Supremacy, there'll be teams that just go Talon. So that's two. I'll take. Oh, they're going to kill our 50B and our E100 though, and there's nothing to do to save them. And our team, they have not done any damage in return. They've only done like 1,800 damage into that 50B. 2K now. But we're going to lose 2 tanks for it, and that's not a great trade. It's T-62 though. Asti team of shit. Alright, Mr. 50B, says the dude who takes the heavy tank with no armor into town. This usually doesn't work out for you, mate. That 183 has me kind of on edge. I'm going to have to figure out a way to deal with that at some point. And it looks like my team is going to lose this. So we pretty much just lost 2 tanks for free, and I don't really see how we're going to do that. I don't know if he fired yet. Luckily for me, I think I have the camo value to sneak past him here. Value to sneak past him. Oh, he just fired. That's golden. Yeah, he's going to regret that decision. Oh, he has all the time in the world to regret that back in the garage. EC. What do you mean attack? I just did my attack. I just killed something. What else do you want, bro? Oh, he's Brazilian. What a surprise. This 62A. Which 62A? Is there 62A? Oh, he's probably capping A. That's good for me because I kind of want to kill that guy. If I kill him, I still think I have a chance to win it. Usually when it comes down to these clutch situations, your number one priority is to remove, like, fast tanks. The BC is useless. Shut up. Oh, these... See, I would rage chat at him, but I feel like that would be pretty toxic to do on stream. I think he's humiliated himself enough already in front of all of 13 people. HE from somebody? That had to be a HE from a TD. Because that splash damaged me. Crap, in Supremacy. Winning this on Supremacy is going to be rather difficult. Because I'm on a... Alright, I should be unspotted now. Where?
On n'a pas pénétré le blindage.
I need to save my shells for this T-62 here.
Moteur réparé, bougeons de là. C'est parti.
I also need to not get HE'd. If I get HE'd, it's over.
C'est parti. Joli tir. Réservoir d'essence ennemi touché.
Stop this cap too, and I'm gonna get shot by this TD. Oh, I only have one APCR shell left. What the heck?
En plein dans le mille.
Okay, I'm out of ammo. That's cool. Yeah. Also, yeah. So now you guys know what happens when you don't have enough shells. HE, please shoot HE. There you go. How did I just miss those last two? Oh, that's really not okay. If I'd penned those, I'd be in actually a pretty good position, but I have a dead commander. That's GG. Yeah, dead commander in a bad chat is pretty much. I don't wish I had APCR shells now. I did what I could. I almost had it too, but I missed those two on any 100 and I ran out of ammunition. That was kind of not good. That's kind of a heartbreaker, not gonna lie. I thought I could have had that one. Because that, if I had APCR shells left, I would have had enough to clip out that, what's it called? Use that TD if I killed the 100. That was close.
Notre canon est détruit.
Yeah, normally I don't run out of ammunition ever since they buffed up the ammo count on the Botchet. Back in the day, the Botchet only used to carry, I think it was 36 shells. So it was to the point where like I just didn't even carry HE ammo on this tank. Actually, I think like when I made the Botchet guide on my channel, Botchet had 36 shells, so I did specifically tell people not to put HE on this tank. Because when you only had 36 shells, like if you ran HE, like it was really not good. I stopped running HE when this tank had 36 shells because one time I failed to clutch out a game. It was a 3v1 and then I got it down to a 1v1 against T95 and all I have left were HE shells. After that I just stopped running HE until they buffed back the ammo capacity. Because Botchet HE like doesn't really do that much extra damage compared to like normal ammo.
On n'a pas pénétré le blindage.
I did. That was.
En plein dans le mille. Joli tir.
Oh, I have nowhere to go. I have to kill his 5120. But yeah, if you haven't really noticed pattern, the way you play this tank is you just kind of look for like somewhere open to go first, and if you can't find somewhere open, you just go for the easiest. In that case, that should be the C flank. Find the Waffenträger. I know he's here somewhere. I saw him.
C'est parti.
I really shouldn't.
On n'a pas pénétré le blindage. En plein dans le mille. On n'a pas pénétré le blindage. Pilote hors combat. Mobilité restreinte.
Also deal with that Botchet. I'm gonna go yellow that.
Celui-là n'a pas percé. Réservoir d'essence ennemi touché.
Alright, good stuff, team. Looks like our team managed to win the fight pretty much everywhere around the map, even in spots where like they had a numerical disadvantage. So that's good stuff from the teammates. And if there's one thing that's really awesome about the botch is you have like the autoloader and like the mobility makes it really easy to steal damage at the very end.
Celui-là n'a pas percé. On a
Damage on this
incendié.
183. That's 1,000 damage that I did not do anything to deserve. Oh, of course.
Ils sont touchés. Il a rebondi. On lui a mis le feu.
Yeah, thanks for watching, Patrick McCree. Yeah, like, to all the people who, like, watch my stuff, like, thanks a lot. I do this as a hobby, so it's really nice to just see that people, like, actually like watching my stuff. It's, like, big confidence booster. And, yeah, I definitely made that Bushka video, definitely because, like, you know, slapping Bushka's name is a good way to clickbait. Although I've been wanting to do a video like that for quite a while before I made that video, it's just I was waiting for the right video where like I could get him on enough points to like really make a good impression. Because I remember the first Bushka video I ever watched was what's it called? It was his Pershing video. It was like a couple years back, and I think I might have told the story before on stream, but like, so I watched the video and I have this distinct memory of him saying, like he was playing the Pershing and then so he like looked at the Pershing like in battle, but he was like aiming at a stock Pershing, so of course like the stock Pershing's turret has like no armor and it was all gray. And he's like, yeah, you see that, guys? Yeah, that's what your turret looks like. And then I know a terrible Australian accent, but he's like he just like. Oh my god, I need to stop saying like, this is bad. But he called out the Pershing for having really bad turret armor because he was looking at a stock Pershing. And I'm like, bro, like, the Pershing has great turret armor. It's just, you're looking at a stock Pershing and you clearly haven't played the Pershing enough to realize that you're aiming at a stock Pershing and then you're telling everyone that the Pershing has bad turret armor. And by the way, oh my god, there's a lot of tanks here. And by the way, like, Pershing, #2 tier 8 medium tank. Don't.
On n'a pas pénétré le blindage.
One does not simply question my baby. But yeah, I'll probably be putting out, like, a video ranking the tier 8 mediums at some point. I've just been, like, putting together a bunch of footage for it. Because there's a lot of tier 8 mediums. So expect that video sometime in the future. I'm doing that video mostly because I think it was Tank Eating Tiger that requested it. So I'm doing it. Yeah, usually all it takes to get me to do something is like 1 or 2 requests. Because like this stream here is pretty much based off like Jacques' request to see a Botchet live stream. Like, hey, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. We're doing it. I can handle the Foch. Alright, let's get this VK. One thing about the Botchet is I've heard from Rith27 from Straight. I think he changed his name to like Rith Commander 27 now, I think. Something like that. Like, he says he's a tester, but apparently a 4-shell Botchet is currently in testing. I'm like unbelievably hyped over that. I would love a Botchet with a bigger magazine. I think I keep saying this over and over to people, but I would love if Botchet could get like a 4-shell magazine with the full 350 alpha. Even if it meant lower DPM, less accuracy, and no light tank camo, I think it would just be awesome. Just to have like a really fast autoloader at tier 10 with like a large magazine. Even if it just had 310 alpha and 4 shells, there's just something about having a 4-shell magazine that's super satisfying. Currently, the only like large 4-shell autoloader in the game is the Lorraine. Something about playing the Lorraine 4 shells is just so satisfying, even though it has 30 less clip potential than like the 5100, for instance. Having 4 shells just feels really nice. Yeah. 4005 is definitely going to be next on the chopping block. It's not getting nerfed yet. It's Conway's turn this patch, but probably by the next patch. The next patch is 4.3. I think I wouldn't be surprised if 4005 gets nerfed. Also, I will be doing more map guides. It's just those take a long time to make, and sometimes I get lazy. But for the next map, I'm trying to figure out what I have the most footage for. A lot of times like the maps I do, it'll kind of depend on what I actually have footage of, usually. At the moment, I'm thinking it might be Mayan Ruins, maybe Black Goldville. Those are the two maps I'm thinking of for doing the next map guide. As for the Foch autoloader, I'm unbelievably disappointed. It'll be really good, don't get me wrong. Just for the sheer fact the Foch will have like massive DPM. I think it'll be like one of the highest DPM TDs at tier 10, other than maybe the Gorilla and the 260 after it gets the autoloader. So just for the sheer fact it'll have tons of DPM, it'll be good, but I'm still massively disappointed because they could have done so many more fun things with an auto-loading Foch. Like, the way it's being implemented, a 7-shell interclip with only 2 shots, at that point, it's basically just a single shooter. Because 7 seconds is, like, way too long to really justify having an auto-loader. And 2 shots is just super lame. It's unbelievably lame. I mean, if you ever played the SP1C, you know 2 shots doesn't really feel like an auto-loader. Just kind of, and the SP1C has fast interclip too. But I mean, as for how I would have balanced an auto-loading Foch, like I think personally what I would have preferred is if they'd like had the 120mm option like the Foch B. So I think it should have been 4 shells, 400 alpha, and then like 3.3 second interclip or something. I would have taken like I would have taken some massive trade-offs in order to get like auto-loading TD, and I think it kind of needs it to really stand out because we have so many like 1200-ish alpha auto-loaders, like the T57, the AMX 50B. Those do 1200 a clip, like the 5150. And so 2 shells on a 155, that's 1280. There's essentially no difference in clip potential between that and a heavy autoloader, and the heavy autoloaders unload faster actually. Like the 50B, the T57, they'll do their clips in 6 and 5 seconds respectively, and then there's the Foch, which needs 7.1, which is really stupid, honestly. The other option I see for like I would have done for like a Foch autoloader, like keep the 155. I would have done like a 3-shell 560 alpha autoloader. I think that's 1680 clip potential. So I think that would have been pretty cool, and then give it like 5 seconds between shells to balance out the alpha. And of course, like the autoloader options, I think should have had less DPM. Because if the autoloader option has more DPM than the single shooter version, what's the point in the single shooter, honestly? Everyone's just going to run the autoloader. So I kind of got no clue what WG's balance team is thinking with the new autoloader Foch. Yes, I'm loading heat, and that's because that button. Oh wait, he's gonna kill me on his. That took a little too long to sink in. I always forget when I fight autoloaders that they have autoloaders too, because normally I'm used to be like just playing against like single shooters, so like they shoot once, it's like, all right, you've had your 6, and by 6 I mean 1. I just tried to quote a James Bond movie. .3 interclip on a 4-shell autoloader. Like they would just have to like keep the the total magazine reload, make it like 30 seconds or something. That would still give it like a reasonable amount of DPM. As for for maps, so first of all, new map, let's clear that out of the way. It looks great, okay? It looks amazing. Because if there's one thing I've really wanted, it's like a good city map other than Himmelsdorf. You guys probably already know this by now if you've watched me a lot. But Himmelsdorf is my favorite map in the game because I feel city maps give you so many more options compared to like open maps and like mixed type maps. Because open and mixed maps, you get like two options of where to go, and that's it. And you can't and like all it takes is like 1-2 tanks to control like an open side, and then you can't go anywhere without having to be shot at by something. City maps, like with all the streets, the tall buildings, they prevent vision and stuff. It means that you get a lot more areas to play around with and not a lot more ways to be sneaky. So I really want like a well done city map other than Himmelsdorf, because I love Himmelsdorf, but it's one map. Like Dynasty's Pearl, I think had so much potential. I mean, the concept maps for Dynasty's Pearl honestly looked great. The Dynasty's Pearl that we ended up getting actually is only half of the map. Like right now, like beyond the park where like there's like water and stuff, there was supposed to be another half to the city. There was supposed to be much more to Dynasty's Pearl, but I don't know why WG removed it. And now Dynasty's Pearl is kind of one of the worst maps in the game because yeah, it's a city map, but they made the center of it completely open. So it's like trench warfare. You can't really cross that open area in the town spot without getting just wrecked by stuff. Because there's only 3 lanes to go, and that kind of defeats the purpose of a city map. So you get the disadvantages of not having hull down cover. The disadvantage of city maps, and then you also get the disadvantage of open maps, which is you don't have a lot of places to go. So that's why Dynasty's Pearl is one of the worst maps ever. And then the reason why I think Himmelsdorf is well done is because Himmelsdorf has a lot more streets and stuff that you can go through. And it also does have hull down cover, unlike a lot of other towns and stuff, which is what I think makes Himmelsdorf great. But for the new map, like from what I've seen of like the leaked mini map and stuff, it looks like what a city map should be. Lots of little streets, lots of little alleys, and that should be more than enough to negate the lack of hull down cover. Because I mean, if you haven't noticed, like even when I've just been playing this botchet here, I don't even use hull down cover that much in this tank. Although, like I'll take it when I can get it, but you don't need it. If you run into something, you can always go around it on a city map. That's why I don't think if you have a well-made city map, you don't need the hull down cover, which is why you these areas. And that's kind of why I hate the mixed type maps, because if you have a mixed type map where there's like a city and like an open area, then everyone will just go to the open area because there's hull down cover. So like half the map gets wasted. But if you have a completely city map, then people don't have that option, and the whole city area becomes playable. And that's what I think really allows for a city map to come out on its own. The 183 next to me, that's one. And so I think someone also made a comment on Old Oasis Palms. No. Old Oasis Palms was the worst map in the game, possibly ever. Basically, like, Old Oasis Palms lasted for all of about, like, 3 or 4 patches because it was so bad. There's a reason why Old Oasis Palms was the very first map to be reworked. Everyone loves to reminisce of, like, oh, remember the sniping positions and, oh, the great sniping and blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, in order to have a good sniping game on Old Oasis Palms, you needed both teams, first of all, they needed to go different directions. If both teams go the same direction, then it just, everyone slugs it out at the base of a hill with no cover. It was horrific. And if both teams go different directions, then you also need someone on your team to be dumb enough to go to the middle of the map and go spot for you. And not a lot of people were willing to just suicide for that. In addition to needing a teammate to spot for you, you also need to be driving like an actual sniping tank. I mean, if you get the perfect scenario and you're driving like an IS-7, well, you're out of luck because you're just going to get shot at by enemy TDs the whole game. And then on top of that, why would you want a really good sniping map in today's Blitz? Because everyone is like constantly complaining about TD spam. So in my mind, if you think TD spam in current Blitz is bad, which it isn't, there's no reason for you to want to play Old Oasis Palms. Worst map in my opinion. Okay, wow, there's a lot of comments for me. Let's start with the top one, I think it is. Worst map in my opinion. Oof. Middleburg. Middleburg. That's right. Middleburg is the worst map in the game. I was about to say Dynasty's Pearl, but then I remembered that Middleburg exists. I'm just going to justify this real quick. I know a lot of people don't really think much about Middleburg, but see, Middleburg is everything that could possibly be wrong with a map in one map. First of all, half the map is straight up unusable. Because unlike other maps where like generally town is a bad spot to be in, at least on some maps you can still like flank through it, you can get crossfires to take it, just etc. You can do some things with the towns. On Middleburg, you cannot, because the hill is so steep, you cannot rotate between the hill and the town. It's not possible. You also can't get crossfires, so that means that half the map completely useless right off the bat. On top of that, since half the map is useless, the actual usable area on Middleburg, there's 2 lanes, okay? There's 2 lanes where you can drive down, so it's literally like World War I in a nutshell. If you make a move on Himmelsdorf, or not Himmelsdorf, if you make a move on Middleburg, you are going to die. There's not much to be said about it. If you try to flank through the outside, if someone catches you, you're insta-dead. All you have to do on Middleburg is just wait for the enemy team to make a mistake and hope that they make a mistake before your team makes a mistake. Otherwise, all you can do is sit in your hull down cover. And because you can't rotate or do anything, the only tank class that does well on Middleburg is heavy tanks with turret armor. If you're not playing like IS-3, IS-7, T-32 or something like that, if you're playing anything that doesn't have turret armor, you're out of luck. And on top of that, not only is it unfriendly with so many different tank classes, but the map is also really unbalanced. I think it's North Spawn, but North Spawn has like elevated positions on the hill. Like their hill positions are better than the South Spawn hill positions. So if both teams go all hill, North Spawn wins that fight like 9 times out of 10. Actually, no, I think it's South Spawn. But it's unbalanced. It's unfriendly with multiple tank classes. You can't do rotations. It's super defensive. You really couldn't ask for like worse map design. It's so bad. Like, Dynasty's Pearl is bad, but at least you can use the whole map on Dynasty's Pearl. You can't say the same for Middleburg. Middleburg just needs to be removed. And I know that was a super long rant on Middleburg, but it's honestly the worst. I can't get over how much I hate Middleburg. I hate it so much. What were the other comments? I remember there were other comments. I've ranted about Middleburg for so long, I've forgotten all the other comments. How did our team win this? Last time I checked, we were losing, and now it's 5-1. I don't know. I'm gonna die here. He ran out of shells? He ran out of shells. We're okay. You've had your turn, now it's my turn. Oh, I didn't fix my ammo rack earlier, so yeah, he's done reloading. Oh no, I missed! he bounced. Okay, wow, that's like the 3rd bounce. Okay. Wow, he bounced like 4 or 5 shells off me, like Mr. Bounce. That was really shady. That is some awful RNG for that guy. I'm gonna rub some salt in the wound there and give him lucky player. I kind of feel bad for that though. That was really, really shady. Alright, so thoughts on Progetto. I did not get to test Progetto because my clan lead misspelled my name. I know, that's kind of a huge oof. But since I didn't get to test Progetto, it means I get to blab about it, which is really awesome. That's the one upside to not getting to test a tank. It's actually kind of hard for me to blab about it because I didn't get to test it, so I don't really know how the auto reloader function will work out in Blitz. It looks really awesome though. I'm gonna probably grind for it once it comes out because I'm saving my free XP for the STRV and the but regardless, so I was wrong in my Progetto video. It does go 65. Basically, honestly, when it comes to pub matches, one thing I hate to admit, but it's probably going to happen, is it's going to make the botchet a little bit obsolete. It also goes 65, and it just has a better gun than the botchet because it has more clip potential, more pen, like bigger alpha. The only thing the botchet will really have over it is just the camo value. It just kind of makes me sad. Like it makes me. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The fact that it's making my beloved botchet obsolete in pub matches makes me really disappointed. 10 degrees gun depression though, no turret armor. The hull armor is super annoyingly troll though. It looks like a good tank. I'll be honest. Also, the tier 9 also looks pretty. Tier 8? Well, I mean, I haven't seen the stats. No one knows the stats for the tier 9 because they haven't been in the game. Files haven't been leaked. But tier 8, I know that has a 90mm gun, so I kind of question if that'll be any good in Blitz, especially when the P69 is already a thing. P69 already reloads a clip faster than the IS-3 loads one shell, so the auto reloader function is kind of pointless. Unless they give it like 4 shells. If they give like the whatever it's called, 4 shells, it'll be pretty good then. In fact, it has 4 shells. Then the auto reloader function will be useful. It's 3 on a 90mm at tier 8. Just drive a T69. Other thoughts I have on the Progetto. So looking at the stats, the gun handling is kind of weak. I think it's like the least accurate overall medium tank at tier 10. So keep that in mind. DPM is also fairly on the low side, but the auto reloader function makes it super easy to make full use of the DPM because you can just treat it as a single shooter or a clipper whenever you need. So you can really stretch that DPM as far as it'll go. Other thoughts? 10 degrees gun depression. Yeah, I mentioned that. It'll also kind of make the STB a little bit kind of weak, honestly. The only thing the STB will have is just like a little bit of turret. So if you imagine like a faster STB with the auto reloader feature, that's basically the Progetto. As far as the stats go, that's about all I can say on it, having not played it. Because like I said, most of that tank will rest on how good that kind of gimmick of having an auto reloader is. Other comments I remember reading just now. Oh, Himmelsdorf is bad for TDs. Himmelsdorf is absolutely bad for TDs. But you know, given how much people hate TDs in this game, I'm pretty sure that you guys would consider that a bonus. Because so many people just hate TDs and TD spam that you'd think that having a map that's not good for TDs would be a good thing, right? I don't know. Some people, I don't know. Y'all are confusing. Bad space already. Also, little known fact is, even though it shows as tenable, the AMX 31ER prototype is actually covered in spaced armor now after a buff. Don't shoot the sides of the 31ER prototype with HE. It's not going to work out anymore. They made the entirety of the sides spaced armor. Other comments I remember reading, I forgot. I'll have to finish this game and then go back and read the comments. Oh, it's just me. And I'm not going to call a bad odds this because they have 900 cap points. Oh, that BK is going to hit a lot. Oh, that D100 somehow hit me really cheap from the distance. Player base makes Middleburg bad. No, Middleburg is just bad to start with. Oregon makes these maps too where you can't flank without being spotted and you can't support your team from the flank. Exactly. That's Middleburg. That would be Middleburg. And that's why I like urban maps, because on Himmelsdorf, you have all these like streets and alleys where you can hide and actually be unspotted. Unlike other maps, desert maps, oasis palms looking at you. What else? Oh, what about the budget camo or the view range? Like I said, compared to the Progetto, the one thing the budget will have is its camo value. I think the Progetto actually has the same view range as the Botshot. So yeah, the budget actually doesn't have a view range advantage, especially if you're running optics, or not optics. If you're running CamelNet like me, and you run optics on your Progetto, then the Progetto will have better view range than the. So like I said, the one thing the budget's going to have is camo rating, and that's not enough to really justify it in a pub match. And that just makes me sad. This is why Botchet needs 4 shells, because if Botchet has a large magazine, then it can stand out from other tanks. And then, like, same goes for, like, when they add the TDP, which is, like, same alpha, should be the same alpha damage because it's 100 millimeter. And it's also fast and has no armor. So basically, the TDP is going to be a Botchet, slightly larger and less camo rating, but it'll have faster unload speed. Like, how does the Botchet, like, stand out against other tanks with 310 alpha and, like, 3 shells in the clip? It just doesn't. This is why Botchet needs a big magazine, because that's how it stands out from those tanks on PC. But on Blitz, it has a tiny magazine. So I'd be more than willing if they just stripped away the light tank status from the Botchet and just gave it like a big gun. Like 350 alpha and 4 shells or something, or 4 shells, just at least 4 shells, at the very least. And then what I think should happen is, like, I understand that having a light tank in the form of the Botchet at tier 10, it's an important thing. So what they should do is they should just copy-paste all of the Botchet stats, just everything, just take it, copy-paste it, and stick it on AMX 13105. I've played the AMX 13105 on PC on the test server. It's literally the Blitz Botchet. It's a 3-shell 105 that goes 65 kilometers an hour, and it's French. It even has the same gun. It's the same gun. It's like the D1504 or whatever. There's no reason why WG can't just make one new model, copy-paste the Botchet stats, and then just rebalance the Botchet. If you ask me, that is how it should all be balanced, but, I mean, Blitz Balance Team has no sense of fun. They just want all the tanks to be the same. Because it's really easy to make the tanks all balanced if they're all functionally the same. That's what I hate about the way that WG balances based on stats. I mean, yeah, balancing based on statistics is well and all, but my thoughts on balancing just so everything like plays statistically the same is, it's like if a tree falls in a forest and no one hears it, does it really make a sound? Like, the player base doesn't need to know that something is statistically overperforming. If the player base thinks something is more or less balanced, does it really matter if it's not that balanced? When you try to balance everything based on statistics, like it results in you in balancing things by like taking away like the unique features with like the guns on some things, or not just the guns, but for example, like the first thing that usually gets nerfed is usually just the strongest feature on a tank, and that's what I think is really not good about balancing based on stats. A BC with a big gun is just a 4005. Yes and no. Well, I guess for the Blitz 4005, something that people kind of underestimate on autoloader is alpha damage. Like, having more alpha means that you can punish people harder. If you take, there's a difference between having 1400 clip potential and taking 4 shells and 10 seconds to do that damage, as compared to having 1400 clip potential and only taking like 6 seconds and 3 shots. And it means, so like if you only see a target for 3 seconds, like you do in most cases, like with the 4005, you'll hit them for 920. You only see them for 6 seconds in a Botchet, you only do like 700. That's the big difference. And also the 4005 is tons of penetration. Like, I think you should keep the Botchet penetration low, just so that the Botchet will probably miss or bounce shots. And then, oh my god, they're all coming after me. This is... Being chased by an E50M and a 50B is like a Botchet's worst nightmare. Because these are tanks that are difficult to run away from, difficult to pen. I mean, the 50B is like... I know 50B is... On paper, the 50B is paper, but that turret will bounce a lot of shots because the mantlet covers so much of it. And I think people really underestimate how good the turret on the 50B is, especially if you just put the gun down. Like, people are like, oh, the 57 has so much better armor than the 50B, but does it really? Like, in my experience, you tend to get more bounces in the 50B just because actually do bounce off of it a lot. I'd actually put like the overall armor profiles roughly equal. The one difference I've noticed between 57 and 50B is that the 50B will get aging on the sides and the 57 won't. Oh, I'm lagging. That's cool. Oh, thanks, lag. I have 372 damage from that 50B. But see, like, that's what I mean by alpha damage on autoloader is kind of important. Because if that were a 4005, that's 460 instead of 4. Or 268 is.
Celui-là n'a pas percé.
Oh, this is a loss. This is what happens when you lose the A cap on whatever this map, Falls Creek. Because then you just kind of get stuck in this corner, and as you can see, there's not a whole lot I can do because you can't really push bridge. And we definitely don't have the tanks to push the other side. So I'm just going to sit here and probably die to this T-57. I have nowhere else to go. That's the one downside to playing with Ratchet is if you run out of places to go, it doesn't end well. Let's see. Best light tank for each tier in its tier. Ooh. Tier 8 okay, so I guess I'll take the time to answer this one. I'll skip tiers 4 and below because that's lame. Tier 5, definitely the ELC. That's not really a competition. Tier 6, oof. Honestly, they're all kind of bad now. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm actually going to say the T-21. Actually, did they nerf the T-21's gun? Let me double check. If it still does 160, then yeah, it still does. T-21. The T-21, it's kind of like a Cromwell B with better gun handling, but slightly worse rate of fire. MT-25 is kind of gimmicky. It's really fun to play. VK-28 is kind of bad, actually. Really low DPM for a light tank. Armor doesn't exist, as it does for all light tanks. It's fast, but I don't know. The gun just kind of sucks. Chaffee's too slow. T-37, I don't know. A little fat, kind of gimmicky. 12T, I think they just got nerfed again, so the DPM is again too low for a light. Tier 7, ooh. This is also kind of hard because a lot of these are kind of bad now. I want to say the Bulldog, but I haven't. But the problem with the Bulldog is it doesn't have enough camo. Probably the T-71. I like the T-71 a lot. Also, the 1357 is really fun to play. At Tier 8, I kind of refuse to rank any of these just because they're all kind of unique in their own way. I know that's like a super cop-out statement. Like the T-49, I just can't really compare it to other tanks just because it's the only tank that's so fast, it's such a massive gun, it's so unique. Between the Rue and the Lek Panzer, the Rue is definitely better, so yeah. I will say the lightweight's the worst. I hate the lightweight. It just doesn't do anything very well. It's like a worse light tank at the light tank job. Because like when you actually like get shots, it just doesn't do the damage because it doesn't have the big gun, it doesn't have the DPM, it doesn't have the autoloader, and it's also pretty inaccurate. The armor doesn't really exist. I know people like to pretend it has armor. It still doesn't exist. It's like not as fast as like a Rue, for instance. 1390. Well, I guess honestly, on paper, the best light tank is the Rue. But I just find it hard to say that when 1390 and T-49 are just so different from the rest. Tier 9, well, there's only the bot AP, and then Tier 10, there's only the bot at Tier 10. So I guess that was pretty easy. All right, make the botcha like a T-49 is like a low pen, high ceiling. Yeah, exactly. That's how it should be. Like, if you pen all the shots, you play well, and you find out, like, if you can find an opportunity where you can stay exposed in a botchet for 10 seconds, you deserve to do a lot of damage for that. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do a lot of damage. If you can, like, literally just stay exposed in front of an enemy for 10 seconds, that should be a reward, in my opinion. I was number 4 and 8. Oh, are you talking about likes? Honestly, like a lot of YouTubers, they say like I know like a super common line in just all YouTube channels, like not even just Blitz, is just like leave a like. It really helps the channel out or whatever. I'm actually not entirely sure what likes do. I'm sure it does something if you're a big enough channel where you can actually be monetized. Likes are mostly just for fun. Makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Because in case you didn't know, like this is entirely a hobby. I make exactly $0.00 because I don't need like 1,000 subscribers and like a million minutes of watch time or something like that in order to actually get monetized, because YouTube like cracked down on like monetization. It's kind of hard to get monetized. But yeah, I make exactly $0.00, so don't feel too bad about like not liking the video. Just don't dislike it, because if you dislike it, that just makes me feel bad. Other than that, I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect the channel that much, although I got a feeling that it might affect how often YouTube like puts my videos in the recommended. Like, you know, when you're watching a video and then like on the right side it'll be like you might also like these videos, and like a lot of people like click through those. I'm pretty sure like likes might influence how often your video shows up there, but I can't be entirely certain. Also, I just like to show off how good the Bacha camo is. He won't spot me until 50 meters. This dude is probably like, what the heck? So, yeah, you can play Ninja Botchet if you run the camo net. It's really hilarious. That dude literally did not see me until 50 meters. That's what I love doing with the Botchet every now and then, is you can just sit in a bush, unspotted, and then when you finally do get spotted, they're always like, what just happened? I'm still going to die here because, again, I have nowhere to go. What I hate about the more open maps is you run out of places to go really fast. Like, once you run out of places to go and you're forced to fight something frontally, it tends not to end well. Drop down to like 700. Okay, I'm lagging again. Looks like I finally got internet back. OP tank in general, that's a good question. I haven't thought about that question in a long time. I know I had an answer to this. I wouldn't say it's the T-22. The T-22 is a really good tank, and it's really stupid that it's super good, and that it costs like $1,000 to buy when it first came out, and it's at tier 10, so it gets used in comp. The T-22 is really stupid. I wouldn't call it the most OP tank in general. I would say it's stupid, but like I don't really consider low tier tanks to even be tanks. I'm gonna have to come back to that question. That's actually a really hard one to answer. I mean, even just like probably like 1 or 2 updates ago, I think the answer was probably really obvious. It was the Charioteer. But they nerfed the Charioteer, so that's actually balanced now. Oh my god, there's so many tanks. Like, when it comes to really OP tanks, sometimes, like, I know, like, this is an unpopular opinion, but a lot of people, when they think about OP tanks, they think about tanks that can do everything. So they think about like just balancing that like armor, firepower, like mobility. If that were really the case, then like 113 would be the most OP tank ever. Armor, firepower, like mobility. The tank goes 50 kilometers an hour, has a great turret, great DPM, reasonable accuracy, but it's not. What makes a tank OP is when you can do things that other tanks simply cannot do. I mean, like, Charioteer back in the day was the most OP tank in the game because it could do things that other tanks could not do. You could melt down, like, an entire enemy team in, like, a minute. Like, you can't do that in other tanks. And then, when the 5100 was a thing, with 4 shells, like, you could drive up to a tier 7 medium and delete the dude, there was nothing you could do. Sure, it had no armor, but I don't think you need armor to be OP. I mean, a lot of the most OP tanks in history have not been armored tanks. I mean, if you think about tanks like, for example, on PC, like when it first came out, the Waffenträger E100 with like the 6-shell, 590 Alpha magazine. Everyone will pen it with HE, but it doesn't even matter just because it does something that nothing else can do. You can delete like 2 tanks in one clip. The WZ-120 GFT is actually a good contender. I think it's held back slightly by the fact that it has no hit points and it has no turret, which can be a little awkward to work with. I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to come back to that question. That's honestly a good question. How is the Pershing? Pershing is amazing. So right now, at the moment, the Pershing is like my go-to tier 8 tank. I've got, I think for the last like 90 days, I'm running like a 75% win rate and like 2,300 average damage in it. I know I had to go out there a little bit, but the Pershing is great because it's not a flashy tank. You don't think of it as having the most armor, the greatest gun, the best mobility, but it does exactly what you need it to do. That's the thing. Unlike a lot of other tier 8 mediums, like the Mod 1s, like they're all kind of gimmicky. Like the Mod 1, you just kind of depend all on that armor. The hull armor, like the Panther 2 kind of just depends on its gun a little bit. Slightly better, but not the best. The CDC depends on the mobility. But when you catch those tanks out of their element, they're not very good. But the Pershing will do exactly what you need it to do. It has enough mobility to get where it needs to be. It has the turret armor to actually brawl with heavy tanks, which at tier 8 is really important. Something that people don't understand about tier 8 medium tanks is tier 8 mediums are really different from other tiers. Because tier 8 mediums are at a tier where they need to be able to hold their own against heavy tanks in a fight. That's why a lot of tier 8 mediums, they're a lot slower than medium tanks of other tiers, but they have a lot more armor tier for tier. So the Pershing with that turret armor, you can sit in a hold down spot and you can hold your own against like an IS-3, for instance. That's something like tier 1 cannot do that. You can't just sit, hold down, and just be a monster. And then also, the Pershing has 10 degrees gun depression, which, again, at tier 8, because you need to hold your own against heavy tanks like IS-3, VK-100, etc., having that gun depression is like a major advantage at that tier. So having 10 degrees gun depression means that it can still stay competitive. Also, of all medium and heavy tanks, the Pershing has the best premium pen of all like non-TDs. It's got 268 on the APCR. I know some heavy tanks have like 270 heat pen, but after normalization is taken into account, the Pershing has the best APCR pen. So you'll pretty much melt through any heavy you want to. The DPM, it's not great, I won't lie, but it's still better than heavy tanks. And then also, yeah, it just does everything you need it to do. Like, you just set it up, and it'll just go to work. And you can negate the DPM a little bit by running Adrenaline. And because the turret's kind of armored, like, you tend not to take that much module damage. So you can get away with actually running Adrenaline, Engine Power Boost, and just the multi-kit. But yeah, I highly recommend you play the Pershing. I mean, it's not gimmicky, no tricks, no gimmicks, just a good tank. And that was kind of a long rant about the Pershing, I know. But I really do love the Pershing. Like I said, I think it's the second best medium tank at tier 8. And number 1 is the T-69. I know it's kind of an unpopular opinion. I feel like most people, they think best medium at tier 8, they'll think something like the T-54 Mod 1 or the T-44. My issue with the Mod 1 is the Mod 1 has good hull armor. I mean, it's not really all that. At the end, you get to Bub You, which is quite common if you're trying to play hull down, and the turret armor, like I said, it kind of sucks. So there's that problem with the Mod 1. Also, the gun is not brilliant. It's just kind of slow. It just doesn't really feel like a medium. It just feels like a tank that's trying to be a heavy, but it's just not very good at being a heavy. If you want to play a heavy, just play like an IS-3. You trade away a little bit out of hull armor, but like it's just much better at the heavy tank role because the turret's invincible. It's not really that much slower. It's faster, probably even. And then the gun hits much harder, and it has way more pen. Like the Mod 1 is terrible pen, even on its gold shells. As for like the T-44, T-44 is not a bad tank. It's probably one of the, it's like the third fastest medium at tier 8. It's only slower than like the CDC and like the Lorraine, and those don't really play like mediums anyway. But again, like that lack of turret armor, somehow having less penetration than the Pershing, it just kind of lets the tank down. Wow, a lot of chat to read through. Holy cow. Oh, I'm in battle, but Zed and Named. Okay, I see there's some cruel drama going on. Old school Heat 54. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. So for those of you who never had to experience the old school Heat 54, it was meta breaking. Because the thing is, old school Heat 54. So first of all, let's start with the armor profile. So nowadays on the T-54, you shoot the cheeks, you shoot the cupolas, you'll pen it. No, not too many issues there. Old school Heat 54 had tiny cheeks. Like, it's extremely difficult to pen the thing in the turret, especially if it's moving back and forth in the hold down. You're never gonna pen it. Just not gonna happen. Might as well just like spam HE because you have nothing better to do. And then on top of that, gold ammo did full damage. So that's something that still happens on PC where gold ammo does full damage. It's been so long since that gold ammo nerf that we kind of take for granted that premium ammunition is kind of balanced now that it does less damage. But back in the day, T-54, you can load full heat ammunition, and there's no penalty for it. You can just get away with having 330 heat pen, and all you do is lose credits. Well, which admittedly is kind of a penalty, but if you're really good and you hit your shots, you do a lot of damage, you have premium tanks, you'll afford it, no issue. So you have 330 pen, which is like more pen than current mediums have on their gold shells. And then it's also, and then it has the same advantages that the T-54 has now. It's fast, got that pretty solid hull armor, great DPM, good gun handling. It was broken. It was so broken because why would you ever play a heavy tank when you can play the T-54 with just as much armor, more armor actually. Like T-54 back in the day had more armor than say like an M103 or an IS-8. Way faster, has basically the same amount of pen. It was just kind of stupid. I'm unbelievably glad that they actually nerfed Soviet mediums. The Soviet mediums back in the day were incredibly stupid. And I mean incredibly stupid. So I do not miss the old Heat 54 one bit. Also, that was a tier 9 tank, by the way. Like, Heat 54 would have been good as a tier 10, to be honest. Right. Reload and quick read the chat a little bit. Alright, more cruel clan drama. Mouse or E100? Depends. If you're playing competitive, probably the mouse. Because E100 almost never sees use in competitive. Although, honestly, I think E100 gets used less than it should. Because something that does get used in PC competitive, for instance, is the Type 5. And I think the E100 on Blitz plays the same role. Like, super heavy, got a decent slug of hit points, hits really hard, you can HE spam things with it. And it's like kind of hard to pen, like it'll troll some bounces, but it won't like bounce everything. So you can use it like in talons and stuff. But regardless for pub matches, the E100 is actually really fun. I really love my E100. Honestly, the E100 is super underrated because when people think of the E100, they're like, oh, I can heat pen the cheeks. Except when you play it, like people tend to bounce off it more often than you would find, and it forced them to load gold ammo against it too. So like people generally have memories of the E100, like especially when facing it as being worse than it actually is. Also, the E100 has actually decent DPM, something people don't realize. You've got more DPM than the IS-4, the IS-7, the Maus. Pretty much all the heavy tanks that aren't the autoloaders and so like of all like the non-DPM monster tanks, like the E100 has the best DPM, which puts it solidly in the middle of the pack as far as heavy tanks go. So there's that. And if you hit an HE shell, that can massively pump up your damage numbers. Also, E100 is great for dealing with side scraping tanks, cooldown tanks, because you have an HE shell that just does like 400 damage whenever you hit them, no matter where you hit them. Yeah, E100 is pretty great. And then there's the Maus. I really, really want to like the Maus, and I like driving it. I'm just really bad in the Maus. The gun is just so bad. But I know that the Maus will never get buffed because it's the highest win rate tank at tier 10 for some reason. Stupid Russians are somehow really good in the Maus, or maybe they just can't aim. Who knows? But in A, I just feel like I get penned all the time. It's probably just me being bad in the Maus. What else did people say? Stupid bum rush through a town often works in this map. I've tried that. It's like 50-50 in the Maus. I don't think it works in the other tanks, but I guess I'll try that at some point. What else? I paid $60 for the Type 59. I got lucky with the Type 59. So, little known fact is when the Type 59 was first sold, it was like WG messed up and they sold the $60 bundle for $20. Yeah, I got lucky and I got a $20 Type 59. I mean, before the Lorraine came out, before the Scorpion came out, I would have said that the Type 59 was the best premium tank you could get. Because when it comes to like long-term credit grinding, you want tanks that aren't going to get boring. I mean, like IS-3 Defender, like Lerva, they're good tanks, sure. How long can you really play those tanks without just getting absolutely horrifically bored with the mobility and the bad gun handling? I know Lerva has good gun handling, but I'm talking about like the Soviet heavies, for instance, like those IS spam tanks. Like, realistically, how long can you play a 252U and not get bored of the thing? And then, like, you have the Type 59. It's got just enough accuracy, just enough mobility, so that it won't get incredibly boring. And it's a pretty good tank. Like, great turret armor. 7 degrees gun depression, decent enough hull, decent enough mobility. The gun's kind of not that great, but it's got 280 alpha, so it's worth it. And that's why I think, like, back in the day, before the Lorraine, before the Scorpion, like, Type 59 was easily the best option you had for, like, massively credit grinding. But that's my opinion on Type 59. Nowadays, I think the best tank money can buy would be the Lorraine. Because the Lorraine just fills that niche that the Type 59 used to fill of, like, a fast, accurate tank. But the Lorraine has better pen, cheaper shells. It's way more fun because it's way faster. It's got the 4-shell clip. Super fun to play, especially in a platoon. Like, if you platoon up 2 Lorraines and, like, you're well coordinated with your platoon mate, like, if you guys, like, think the same and, like, you guys just have overall good coordination, 2 Lorraines at tier 8 is, like, super unfair. And I mean super unfair. I'll have to, like, get some footage of me and one of my favorite platoon mates, More Salt Please, playing double Lorraines at tier 8. It's super awesome. Highly recommend it. Buy a Lorraine, mate with the Lorraine, and then win like 70-80% of your games because double Lorraines is massively unfair. Especially at tier 8, because people at tier 8 are like not that good. I think there's more in the chat, but DC, you're so bad. I think he's talking to me, and I think it's because I missed him multiple times, so I'm not going to disagree with that statement. I am bad. This is why I rely mostly on flanking people, because I don't have the accuracy to actually hit them when they're not side-on to me. Even when they are side-on to me, I miss them. You guys have seen that throughout the stream. Like that. Side-on gorilla, and I missed. Because I hit my T-54A1 because I'm bad at aiming. Type 59 has been power crept hard. It needs mobility buff. Yeah, I fully agree that Type 59 has been pretty power crept. The thing is, it's not going to get buffed. I hate to say it, but the Type 59 is not about to get buffed. Because it's still doing really well on the balance charts. I think it needs probably a slight DPM buff. I wouldn't buff it that much, just because that turret armor is so good. But yeah, I think like about 100 extra DPM would do the Type 59 well. Compouncer 70. Compouncer 70 is pretty good, actually. People hate on the Compouncer way more than the thing deserves. I mean, people compare it to the T-30, but people don't understand that the Compouncer 70 and the T-30 are fundamentally different tanks. Really, the most valid comparison for the Compouncer is the IS-8 and the WZ-111-14. Because with the Compouncer, it's got the best power-to-weight ratio of all Tier 9 heavies other than the 5120, I think. It's got great mobility, like great traverse, great turret traverse, whatever. And then on top of that, you have pretty good turret armor. If you play it from a cooldown, rock back and forth, people generally are not going to pen that turret, especially in pub matches. And then on top of that, the gun's fairly decent. You have good enough pen. It's pretty solid alpha for a heavy tank. I think it's the all heavies, honestly. Sure, the DPM kind of sucks, but it's only if you compare it to the WZ-111-14, for instance, you trade 100 DPM for 100 alpha. That's a fair trade, in my opinion. And then also, during the last Tier 9 Clan Wars, I actually took some data down. I recorded all the damage done by all the tanks, saw how often they were used. And actually, the Compouncer 70 has the second highest damage per battle at Tier 9 Clan Wars, only to the T-30. I know, it's a little ironic that the one tank people compare it to is the one tank that did better. But that's really the problem, is people are comparing it to the T-30, which is honestly an amazing tank. And honestly, I think it's just kind of an unfair comparison, because the T-30, yeah, it's got a turret, and yeah, it's got good turret armor, but it's still less turret armor than the Compouncer. It's a lot slower than the Compouncer. It's not really in the same role. Pen for the HE on the bot chip. I refuse to support any HE buffs on any tank at all, because HE is the worst mechanic in the game. HE shells should not be able to pen, okay? I keep saying, I think I've said this every stream, and I constantly complain about it, but HE is the lowest skill, most RNG-based mechanic ever, and it's just dumb. It's so dumb. I'm just going to leave it at that, or I'm going to rant for the next hour. Nothing should get an HE pen buff. What else? Type 59 is... Yeah, Type 59 is not OP. I agree with that. What about double mouses? Double mouses either works really well, or you get Castilla, and then it just goes down the toilet and you can't do anything. It's kind of funny to run every now and then, especially if you have two coordinated mouses, because seeing two mouses rolling at you, especially if you're playing something like a botchet, like a 50B, something that is not great for killing mouse, it's well, there's nothing I can do about these things. And they just kind of give up. It's kind of funny. What else? That's why they nerfed Russian medium 2 Unicums. Agreed, 2 Unicums in Soviet mediums was broken. What do you think about the nerf Charioteer and the FV-215B183? Russian medium nerfs. Absolutely deserved it. Absolutely deserved it. I think I covered that already. They were broken, because I only talked about the T-54, but Object 140 and T-62A were literally the exact same story. Impenetrable turret, and then, amazing heat shells. It was dumb. And that's on top of their really good gun handling, DPM, etc. As for the FV-215B183 nerf, I think that's a great example of what I mean by balancing base purely on stats is a bad idea. If the player base thinks it's balanced, who cares? So I would say the FV-183 is balanced just fine now. I still prefer to remove a little bit of turret traverse, but That's just me. Also, I'd love to,
Fossé.
because statistically, according to W's balance charts, the 183 is doing awful. It's the worst, lowest win rate tank of all tanks, tier 8 and above. It's also got awful average damage for tier 10. It's like the worst. I think only the Gorilla might be worse. I don't remember for the most recent iteration. I'll have to double check. But so like on paper, the thing is not at all balanced anymore. It's completely terrible. But I mean, the player base still thinks it's balanced, so who cares? I think it's balanced. One thing I really want at this point is, honestly, my problem with the 183, it's the players of the tank, it's not the tank itself, because the people who play 183 are derp addicts who just really want to see 1300 damage pop up on their screen. I know, because I used to be one of those derp addicts. It's why I have 900 battles in the 183, and I'm still ashamed of it to this day. But really, what I would do is I would nerf down the credit coefficient down to like negative 20% or something. Make it so that you lose like 80,000 credits every time you take it out of your garage. That way it'll prevent like the 183 spam, because something that I actually meant to post a video on out of a random sample of just pub matches, 200 tier 10 tanks. And so the 183 is the most commonly, no, actually the 183 is not. I think was it? Yeah, I think the 183 might have been the most common tank. I don't remember. No, actually just kidding. I think it was the IS-7. The IS-7 was the most played tier tank, followed by the E100, followed by the 183, followed by the Jagdpanzer. So like, that's the problem with the 183, is it's way too common. And people complain about TD spam and, oh, there's like 5,000 TDs every game all the time, right? Actually, TD spam is not a thing. So statistically, you would expect, like, if you just put chopped, like, put every tier 10 tank on a slip of paper, and you just put all the slips of paper in a hat and just randomly drew tanks, you would expect, I think it was like 32% of those tanks to be TDs. And literally 32% of the tanks I recorded of those 200 were TDs. So I can confirm that TD spam is not real. What makes people think that TD spam is real is the vast majority of tier 10 TDs are rarely played. So I found like 5 Foshes, like 2 113 GFTs, and like not that many E3s or E4s either. The problem is, literally like 3 TDs, the Gorilla, the 183, and the Jagdpanzer make up the vast majority of TDs that people see. This is why people think that TD spam is a problem. Because like those 3 TDs are also like the really campy TDs. Like Jagdpanzer, the massive alpha, same for 183, Gorilla is also super campy. But that's why people think TD spam is a thing. They also think it's a thing because there's not that many medium tanks in the game. And the reason why there's not that many medium tanks in the game is because heavies are massively overrepresented. I think like I expected to see, I think it was like 34% of tanks to be heavies. It was something like 40% of the tanks were actually heavies. All of that was at the expense of medium tanks. I mean, if you want to complain about any sort of spam at tier 10, it's got to be heavy tank spam. And then, of course, of the heavy tanks, I think the most popular, like I said, it was IS-7, E100, and I think the rest were all fairly even. Most of the heavies were middle of the pack, other than like IS-7 and E100. But that's just because IS-7 and E100 are like the first lines that people go up, so it's some of the most common tier 10s in general. Okay, that was a really long rant. What else? Cherry tier nerf was absolutely deserved. Sorry about that. That's my phone going off in the background. I think I'm getting texted. Cherry tier nerf. Yeah, the cherry tier was extremely broken. If you saw the most recent balance charts, like I'd love to show them on stream, but I don't know how. But basically, like if you imagine on a scale of 1 to 10, so all the like win rate and damage bars for most tanks are like at where a 3 would be, and then there's the cherry tier at like level 10. It was ridiculous. I'm going for 4005. You should go for the 4005. 4005 is still amazing. It hasn't been nerfed yet, and you should really play it before it gets nerfed, because the 4005, it is overperforming on the charts, but it's like not nearly as bad as the Conway and the Charioteer, which is why the Conway and the Charioteer are being nerfed, and the 4005 hasn't been, but I expect the 4005 to take a nerf soon. So tired of the 183 talk. Yeah, sorry, I know that was kind of a long rant. What else? I got the Yagi 100 about 2 months ago. I guess I'll put, if you're having trouble with the Jagdpanzer, I've actually been doing well in the Jagdpanzer. Might as well just play that just to show it off. The thing about the Jagdpanzer is the Jagdpanzer is good for one thing and one thing only: destroying tanks in front of it. I mean, I know for like tournaments and stuff, I include Jagdpanzer on one strategy for Dynasty's Pearl, and it's pure job. If you think of like how the STRV on PC will just shred medium tanks in front of it, the Jagdpanzer on Blitz does the same thing but for heavy tanks, because you have that alpha, you have that penetration. If you just line up the heavy tanks in front of it, it'll just go to town. Because something that people don't realize is the Jagdpanzer actually has the third highest DPM of all tier 10 TDs. It's only behind the 263 and the Gorilla. So this thing will just tear people apart. What other comments? So it's like Absolute Sniper stopped watching. It's kind of unfortunate. I guess I should have said goodbye earlier, because he's not going to hear it now, but see ya, Absolute. Alright, Jagdpanzer time. Oh. If you ever play Canyon, please don't go to A. Just don't do it, because the thing about A is there's no cover at A at all, and also you'll get shredded by the tanks at B. If you think of it like rock, paper, scissors, so the way Canyon works is the B cap easily controls the A cap, the C cap you need to control the B cap. So you should be going C, but I don't know why people go A. Mind-boggling. Well, actually, I think I know. It's because all these people play Call of Duty, they think that buildings are cover. See, the thing is that a lot of people don't understand is that buildings are not cover. If you think buildings are cover, you are wrong, because it doesn't matter if you can hide behind a building. The second you want to do anything, you're going to have to peek out with your tank, and you're going to get shot pretty badly for it. Which is why buildings are not cover. The only sort of cover in this game are like dead tanks that you can hold out behind and like ridges and stuff, and there's a grid cap. Wonder if this grill is going to come after me. I have to get a quick drink after I shoot this leopard. That was a bad trade. I took that. Oh, there's a 50B here. What the heck? Alright, 50B. Yeah, this is not a trade you want to be taking, good sir. The thing about the Jagdpanzer is you don't actually need to land that many hits to be having a great game. So I've landed 3 shells, and I've done 2,400 damage. And if I land one more, that'll put me at 3k. See, watch. If I hit this gorilla. There we go. Oh, I missed him. But still, 3k. That's all you need to do. You only need to do like 4 shots, and you're having a pretty solid game. That's not too hard, considering the reload on this tank is like the same as like the normal U100. It's like a second longer. But with a gun this big, it's not really that big of a deal. And somehow that gorilla disappeared. I don't know how. Good night. But that is how you play the Jagdpanzer. I know that was not a super great showcase because all I did was camp in the spawn. But yeah, like if you can line up the enemy team in front of the Jagdpanzer, it just tears them apart, as you can see. Like you can't really be too aggressive in the Jagdpanzer because even though it has technically a lot of armor, like people will melt through it, especially at close range. The gun arc's also not that great, and the rear-mounted gun is a major problem if you're trying to play offensively. So yeah. I think I'll probably end the stream within the next 18 minutes because this stream's already been going for like longer than I normally do my streams, but people keep posting interesting topics for me to talk about. so I've been having fun with it. I really do have to end the stream probably in the next 18 minutes because I'm going to lose my voice tomorrow just from talking nonstop. All right, balls creak again. So, I hate the grind towards the 183. I think that's part of the point. I think it's really awesome that the 183 is kind of like locked behind that really awful grind. Because honestly, if it weren't for the fact that people had to grind through it to get to the 183, you would never see like AT8s, AT7s, AT15s, Tortoises. Because honestly, in Blitz, even with the small maps, they're all pretty terrible tanks just because they're riddled with weak spots. Low alpha, and what's it called? Yeah, just low alpha, low speed is just... Even if they like remove the weak spots of those tanks on Blitz, I think they would still be... This. I could get that shot off before he did. Besides the STRV, which other tanks am I looking forward to? Honestly, a lot of this new European tech tree is pretty sweet. So besides the STRV, I mean, STRV is like the #1 tank I'm looking forward to because I need something fresh. Kranvagn looks pretty sweet. You guys know I love my auto loaders. What else is coming in? The Italians, the Poles. Oh, the Poles are kind of... I'm not really looking forward to the Poles. Honestly, the last thing this game needs is IS-4s with big guns. That just sounds really stupid. But for those of you who love just that IS-4 playstyle, just kind of drive forward and shoot things, I guess Poles will be your thing. Other than the Kranvagn, STRV, what else is coming? Honestly, come at some point. I'm looking forward to the Czechs, but at the same time, I'm not looking forward to the Czechs. Because, like I said, I'll just be another tank that makes my beloved Botchet obsolete. I just... Like, really the one thing I want more than even the STRV is that just 4-shell 350 Alpha Botchet. Because that would be like an entirely fresh tank. Other things that are coming, I guess, in the near future? I'm trying to remember what other nations are actually included. I guess the Progetto. Like, I'm mildly excited for the Progetto. But like I said, it's like bittersweet because I don't want my Botchet to be obsolete. But Auto Reloader does sound like a lot of fun. Other things... That's about it. Because there's nothing on PC at the moment that really interests me. And I can't really think of anything else. So I guess STRV, 4-shell Botchet, and Kranvagn. And then, to some extent, I'm also looking forward to the Czechs and the Italians, but my point clear on those guys. Best tech tree medium, E50M. I'm inclined to agree with that statement. The thing about the E50M, it's a medium that can fight like a heavy. What else do you want? I mean, pub players will have difficulty trying to pen that turret. It's fast, bullies mediums. Solid tank all around. Talk a little bit about the STRV just because I am excited for it, and also I got a good feeling that it'll be the next line after the Italians or the line after the Polish heavies because I feel like WG will probably give us Polish heavies as one of the first lines in this new pan-European tech tree, which makes me sad. But the Swedes. So for those of you who don't know about the STRV, although generally knowing my target audience for this channel, you guys probably know what the STRV is all about, but the STRV is basically the Swedish tank destroyer, and basically, think of like a tier 10 Stug 3. That's basically it. It's pretty fast, and it's got a medium tank gun, actually. So a lot of people are confused by PC alpha numbers. They see 390 on PC, and they assume, oh, it should have 400 on Blitz. But actually, so the SDRB on PC has 390 alpha, but that's because it's a 105 on Blitz, or a 105 millimeter gun. So on Blitz, it should be 350 alpha, and I highly doubt that Blitz would give it 310. That would just make zero sense to me. So it's like 350 alpha, and then it's fast. 12, like if you use the full gun depression, it gets 12 degrees. See, a lot of people have been wondering if the SDRB will come to Blitz with the siege mode, and they say they'll be sad if it doesn't. But here, I don't think I think it'd be better if it came without the siege mode. Now, hear me out. So first of all, no matter what, the SDRB needs hydropneumatic suspension. Otherwise, the tank model literally will not function. Okay, you just can't have an SDRB without the hydropneumatic suspension because the gun cannot depress or elevate. So when they do add the SDRB, they have to give it a hydropneumatic suspension. But when it comes to the siege mode, that's something they don't need to add, because when you think about it, siege mode is just an unnecessary nerf to the tank. Siege mode just means that you have to push a button and wait 2 seconds before you can actually use your gun. There's no reason for siege mode to exist other than just to make you wait 2 seconds to be able to use your gun. Because if you didn't have to use your gun, it would just be like a normal TD. If you didn't have to wait 2 seconds, you could just play like a normal TD. So you just come around a corner, you traverse with the suspension, just like how like when you reach the limits of your gun arc on like a normal TD, the tank will like automatically traverse the tracks for you. Like aim up, like the tank would automatically like use the suspension to aim up for you. So if they added it without the siege mode, it would just be a flat out buff. And honestly, I'm not sure how well having a siege mode would work out in Blitz, just because like all maps, close quarters, less long lines of sight and stuff. But if they add it or not, I wouldn't be too indifferent. All I want is, I just want a new experience, because on PC the thing has 0.24 base dispersion. You're getting a call, sorry about that. But think about that real quick. So if you take the Leopard 1, which is the most accurate tank in the game, you slap on provisions, you slap on refined gun, and you still only get 0.24 dispersion. Now imagine that 0.24 dispersion with refined gun on Blitz with provisions. You could probably get that down to like 0.15. You could literally be hitting like T-54 Cupolas across the map. And I just think, and also like Blitz just doesn't have like that kind of like low alpha playstyle, which I think low alpha TD playstyle at tier 10, which I think would be really awesome. And also it's fast. I don't know, I think it would be cool. 4-shell Batchet with camo would completely change how Batchet is played. See, I say I want 4-shell Batchet, but I don't just want 4-shell Batchet. I want it to be redesignated to a medium tank. So for those of you who were watching the stream earlier, I already mentioned this, but what they should do with the Batchet is they should just take all the stats of the current Batchet and copy-paste them onto the AMX 13105 and leave that as a tier 10 light tank. It's the same thing. But for the Batchet, what they should do is they should give it 4 shells, 350 alpha, probably a little less DPM than it currently has, a little less accuracy, and then they should redesignate it as a medium tank and take away that light tank camo. Then I think it would be balanced, and this way you get the best of both worlds, because WG knows that the current Batchet is balanced, and if you just copy-paste those stats onto the AMX 13105, you would still have that balanced light tank at tier 10 with that autoloader and whatnot. But it would give them room to experiment with like a more fun Batchet and just add some variety to the game. So that's what I think should be done with a 4-shell. But yeah, a 4-shell Batchet with camo rating, that would be broken. I'm not going to deny that. That would be completely broken. But if they like took away that light tank camo and they gave it 4 shells, 350 alpha, a little bit less DPM, I think it would be perfectly. The way I see it is, even if you had 4 shells and 350 alpha, that's only 1400 clip potential. I mean, that's not like radically different from like a tank, for instance. Like the heavy tanks do 1200. That's only 200 more clip potential, but the difference is With 1400, like it would take you 10 seconds to unload that. So, or like 9 seconds, 9 to 10 seconds. And with 9 to 10 seconds, if you can like stay exposed in the botcha for 9 to 10 seconds, you kind of deserve to do that much damage. Because most of the time you probably won't be able to put out that full clip. And yeah, it would change how the botcha is played, but I think that's the point, because I think we need like something fresh in Blitz, and I think a 4-shell botcha would do that just fine. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Oh, that would probably be my internet lagging then. So if the stream lagged a little bit just now, that is my internet's fault. I also probably shouldn't have quit out of that battle because now I have to play something else. I guess I'll play the Jagdpanzer for that one guy who wanted to see the Jagdpanzer. Wow. Stack team. I suppose none of you care about clan drama, but I think it's a little funny that Concept, like the founder, the icon of Pramo, is now in Void. I just find that a little shady. Like, you guys might not have known this if you weren't around for a long time, but Concept is the founder of Pramo. Like, Pramo's a really old clan, founded before, like, clans were officially implemented into the game, so I just find it a little odd that, like, the symbol of Pramo is now in Void. If that's not a symbol of Pramo's decline recently, I don't know what is. Yeah, the thing about the Jagdpanzer does not have exactly a ton of camo. There are IS-4s spotted. I think there's something in this. Can I get this E50 to make a mistake? Make a mistake. I got a feeling. No, my teammate pinned him down. I don't think he's going to come out. Oh, no. Ah, no. There we go. He made a mistake. All right, we'll chat down. All right. Looks like that VK-45 and IS-4 are having a duel. Or VK is winning that fight. I don't know how he's beating an IS-4 in a 1v1. That's really weird. Ooh, hello, Juicy Gorilla. That I also missed. That's a little unfortunate. And this is what I mean by, like, AG pens are kind of the dumbest, most RNG-based mechanics ever. I mean, I had like a 50-50 to pen that guy. So it's just all up to RNG whether or not that dude loses 1200 or 500. And that's why I think HE pens are a stupid mechanic. I mean, as long as they're in the game, I suppose I'll take advantage of it, but it's why I think HE pens should honestly be removed. It's just the dumbest thing. Oh, they killed their BK. Although, now that we have 3 caps, I feel like the game is essentially decided. Because generally, if like you haven't killed that many tanks on the enemy team and they get 3 caps, it's usually over by cap. Right here. This gorilla is fine. No, I don't think he loaded in time. Also, when you play the Jagdpanzer, you do really have to take care to aim those shots. Because if you miss one, you lose a huge amount of DPM. And like, always this gets me shot for just no reason other than the fact that WG's servers kind of suck. Because normally, like, if you guys haven't noticed, I have like double-digit ping. Like, sometimes I've had single-digit ping because my university's Wi-Fi is actually amazing. I did my 4K. Team now. Alright, I'll probably just play one more game in the botchet and end it there. I feel like it would be bad to end a botchet stream after playing the Yak Panzer. I'll invite that tournament, accept that tournament invite a little bit later, I guess. Oh, great. Dynasty's Pearl in the botchet. It's not an ideal map, but I guess I can make it work. Better than Middleburg.
Le réservoir d'essence est atteint.
Alright. A lot of things to talk about. I feel like my streams are always better if there's like more engagement. If you give me like things to talk about, I can just ramble on for a couple hours. Where's the enemy?
On va la voir. Continue à tirer.
Oh, he missed, thank goodness. I was a little bit lucky. Yeah, I know it was lucky. I know, Mr. Waffentrager. He probably should have connected that. Oh, that's a bold move. That's a bold move, Cotton. We'll have to see if it pays off. For those of you who didn't get it, that was a Dodgeball reference. Although I hope that you guys got it. Dodgeball is a great movie. I'm gonna try my best to win this. Hopefully end the stream on a good note. 5 here. I'm okay with trading away some of my hit points for this. 900 for 400 is a good trade, but 900 for 800 is not. Why there's an SU here, the world may never know. Luckily for me, he fired HE. I don't know why he fired HE. Okay, that was dumb. Yes, he's killed me, but I think the team is going to win it. So, I guess that'll probably be all for this stream. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day, and bye.